When I start shooting, all y'all gonna clear out.
Spaghetti Rip uploaded a heat speak, and you guys watched the heat speak?
I think the most valid complaint about Tekken 8 is that we are incentivized to be aggressive. Outside of the few exceptions, like if you're piloting like a character with strong defensive options, like a Yoshimitsu, a Jun, an Asuka, you are pretty much forced to play aggressively if you want to succeed. And I think that is a very valid complaint in a series that heavily rewarded different styles.
That's what I say as well, right? All the Ravens play the same, all the Devil Jins play the same, and it's because the game forces players to do that. It forces Devil Jin to throw that chain out there and then get a force 50-50. That's like the most effective way to, initiate with Devil Jin is by throwing that chain out there. And maybe that's why people feel like the character is trash or whatnot. It ends up feeling very samey, with characters who are forced to be really, really aggressive.
When you look at Tekken 7, people, they talk about it in terms of like, I don't want to go back to Tekken 7. Tekken 7 was whack and this and that. But Tekken 7 had like 7 versions within that one game, right? Like, I like Tekken 7 Season 2, right? After that, I felt like things just started slowly falling off,
And you know why things got crazy after Season 2? That's when they added Power Crush wall bounces. I think that was a big problem. And of course, like Power Crushes and Power Crush wall bounces wasn't used in tournaments. It was more so like an online thing. But that's when the game really started to take a turn. And then also the introduction of other new moves, which is interesting. I wonder in Tekken 8, they probably will add new moves for everyone, right? They did it like 4 times in Tekken 7, so they'll probably do it in Tekken 8 as well. I think it's a good way to satisfy or make everyone happy. But the issue was with Tekken 7 is that they patched a lot of characters' holes. Bob is a perfect example. Before the update, Bob didn't have that move, right? And you would form your whole gameplay around him not having that one thing. But eventually they gave him a new move, and this new move was what he lacked. And then from that point on, Bob became a perfect character. There was no more flaws. People say like, oh, my character needs this one thing. But kinda, you don't, Like, if your character gets that one thing, your character becomes a very solid all-around character with no flaws. And the thing about a fighting game, in my opinion, is that a character should have flaws, right? You should have weaknesses to play around. Maybe you have bad lows. Maybe you have bad tracking. Maybe you have bad damage. Maybe you have bad punishment. I think every character should have one thing. But in Tekken 7, as they added more and more new moves, they patched out everyone's...
The patches that have come out for Tekken 8 and the direction they're taking, I think eventually it will get better. And of course, this is like the arcade version. It's the first year. Everyone knew it was going to be crazy, but it could have been so much worse,
I don't like that. Like, everyone knew the game would be trash on launch. I get it. I really get it. That every Tekken prior released in arcades, and they used that time to make the game more solid. But for Tekken 8, there was no arcades, so they kind of just had to throw it out there how they thought the game was, right? I think it's so weird how, like, Mortal Kombat doesn't need to do that, Street Fighter doesn't need to do that. All these other fighting games released day one in a pretty balanced state. If you take, like, let's compare Street Fighter 6, right? Street Fighter 6 day one, who was the characters that people said was OP? Like Ken, JP, and there was like one more character? That's 3 characters who people were like, oh yeah, this is a problem. With Tekken 8, there's like 15. Why are the Tekken developers incapable of releasing a balanced game when all the other fighting games of their size do it? And then why do the players accept it? Why do the players say, oh yeah, we knew the game was going to suck year one? That's a very bad habit that the players have formed. If they can monetize the game right off the rip, why can't we expect balance right off the rip?
We need to go to Kokoma, because Kokoma, you've been very outspoken about what you feel about this game. You said, I remember I went to your stream one time and you said, I can't play this game too long. It's stressful.
That's what I feel like that just happened to me right now. I was playing for probably about like an hour or whatnot, right? And I feel like after that, like, I just couldn't think anymore. It's not even about a negative experience. It's just like, you can't play at the intensity that Tekken 8 demands.
We are just doing the 50-50 and 50-50. The game is like, just throw my 50-50. That's all. In Burst 2, every character are really super typical 50-50. The system is actually problem. The characters' all moveset is just for 50-50. They should change this thing first.
I agree. Steve Fox, what is the stance called? Rocket Man or Kangaroo stance or Little Jimmy? I don't know what the stance is called. But it's the stance where he has that guard break. Steve Fox goes into that over and over and over again. And it's literally like either you stand, you get guard broke, or you crouch and you get hit by the mid. And it really doesn't even come down to skill. It's just like you guess wrong or you guess right. Same thing with Heihachi, how he has that guard break 1-1-2 wall splat. Or if you crouch, he does that big uppercut, and it's the same thing, full combo wall splat.
I want to ask you, Kagoma, do you think that Feng is a character that can do that to you as well?
No.
So Joker says no 50-50.
Joker immediately says no. I seen this clip on Twitter.
But you play Feng. You said every character is 50-50.
I feel like Joker be downplaying, but we all downplay our characters, even if it's slightly,
Is Feng 50-50 character as well?
No.
Okay, Feng's not.
Honestly,
Feng's not, guys.
I don't think he is.
God, here we go, guys.
Steve's 50-50 is fake. Yeah, see, this game is very complicated. Maybe I am a scrub, like everyone says, Oh, so you could jab him, but you can't jab Heihachi. Is that what you're saying? That should work for every character. They all hit you, and then they drop into this stance. And then all of their stances, Heihachi, Shahid, and Steve Fox, has guard-breaking highs. But what you're saying is that you can interrupt Steve Fox's basically with like a jab or something. I'm assuming a jab. So the question that I would then ask is, why can't you do the same thing with Heihachi and Shahid? I'm not asking you that. That's a question for the developers. Like, the developers should allow you to break out of all of those situations. Fake 50-50s are a neutral component of gameplay. You do them all the time, actually. Oh, okay. I never knew. It sounds like all of us needs to lab the Heihachi. Oh yeah, we can't unless we buy them.
This conversation sucks. Like I'm just listening to everybody downplay their character. Look,
no, I'm not saying give Yoshi good lows. So someone asked me, what is Yoshimitsu's flaws? And I said bad lows, bad tracking. Me saying that is not me saying that they need to buff his lows or buff his tracking. No way. If they did that, I would be absolutely upset. It would kill the character. I like the fact that when I do a low, it's launch punishable, but I got you anyways, and now look at you. You're a scrub who can't block and launch punish, right? It's satisfaction there. I'm doing something that has real risk to it. If you take away that launch punishable, the risk is gone, and also the satisfaction is gone.
It's a really high percentage of rounds that you end up in that situation. So
Yeah.
I think it's more of a system issue more than and the game obviously needs individual balancing, like Fee was talking about. There's a lot of situations that are forced from all the characters, but I feel like that's the direction they want this game to go, and I feel like that is their intention. So for them to break that intention and go a completely different direction is almost impossible at this point.
And that's the question that I've been asking, right? A lot of people have faith in Season 2, but the forced 50-50s is what people take issue with. But the forced 50-50s is what the developers want. I mean, it wouldn't be all over the place. You think that was by accident? They intentionally put that everywhere. And the question that I ask is, will they remove it?
Or is it just the individual moves of the characters, like the moves of Dragunov move, Nina move, or is it heat?
Hit system is not that big problem, I think. All characters' moveset is too much, like moveset.
I don't think it's just moveset though. I think it's the system as well. Honestly, like I think the heat system needs to be looked at. Like
from my perspective, the perspective of a carried Yoshi scrub, every character's move is ridiculous. And it's like that because of the heat system. So nerfing the move or nerfing the heat system, it's the same thing because it's heat moves. So it's not really an argument about, oh, is it a character thing or is it a game thing? The game is characters heat. And I don't know why like people don't see it that way. It's like it's the same thing.